What's up, guys? Your boy Mikey Garcia. Just want to recommend the Fat Attack Stack. Help you increase your stamina, increase your endurance, increase your energy levels, and also burn fat. So don't forget the Fat Attack Stack by Snack.
Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Marcos Villegas. This is Fight Up TV, and I'm being joined now with the undefeated WBC super featherweight champion of the world, Mr. Oscar Valdez. Oscar, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, good to get a chance to speak to you and invite you on here with us. Man, you had a big win, big knockout win over Berchelt. Probably got the knockout of the year in that performance, but you've had a little time to rest and take some time off. How have you been during this whole time off?
I've been good. I've been very happy. I'm literally living a dream right now. Dreaming about these moments to become a WBC world champion and having these great fights like I just did on my last fight with Berchelt. I'm literally living a dream because I've always wanted this ever since I was a little kid. So I'm very happy right now. I'm taking some time off from training camp, but I'm still active. I'm still working out, working on the gym, trying to stay ready so I don't have to get ready, in the future.
Was this second division title more sweeter than the first? Because people always say like the first time you become a world champion is like the sweetest moment.
No, definitely this time was way better. It's not the same fighting fighting Matias Rueda for my first world title fight at 126. It's not the same against fighting a WBC world champion like Miguel Berchelt and also being the underdog and also fighting for a WBC world title. This was much better than my first championship. So I'm very happy that we got the victory, and especially with that fashion way that we did it.
Yeah, man, and exactly what you said. And the way that you did it was like an emphatic way to go and take the title from the world champion. Since that win, man, what have you made of like the reception that you've gotten based on what you did in there that night?
Nothing but good comments. As soon as after that fight, I'm a champion again. And I missed being the champion. I was a champion in 126. Then we vacated the title so we can go up to this division. It took me a while to adjust in this weight class. And for a moment there, I felt people had already forgotten about me, had already just called me out on everything. There was other champions coming up and there were other fighters who people were putting their eyes on. And I kind of missed that moment. I kind of missed that moment being in the ring as a champion and just being a champion in general. So it's just great to be back and nothing but good comments after this fight. As soon as I crossed the border, my whole people, my whole hometown was there waiting for me. And it was just a special moment for me seeing that my people right there supported me again.
Yeah, I saw the videos, of your homecoming, and I was just like amazed. I was like, wow, like these guys like really like came out and threw their support behind you. And I would imagine, man, that was like the best feeling in the world for you to come back to something like that.
It was like you just said, it's the greatest feeling in the world. Having your people there. I did not expect it. We never planned that. That wasn't planned. As soon as I crossed the border, it seemed like people already knew I was going to cross. They were waiting for that moment. And once I crossed, then everybody was waiting for me with the fire truck. It's like a little tradition that people from Nogales have. And it was just a beautiful moment. They kept on putting that song, "We Are the Champions" from Queen. And it was just a great, special moment for me, seeing my whole hometown there and my family and a lot of my friends up in the fire truck with me. It was just a great, special moment.
Can it get any better than that?
I don't know. I don't think so, man. It was just organic, authentic. It was beautiful. It's gonna be hard to top it again.
No, yeah, that's for sure, man. You got a lot of options for the future in terms of fights. A lot of big names that are calling you out as well that we'll go ahead and touch on. But I want to go back to the fight. In terms of you reviewing your work and looking what you did. I know fighters are very harsh critics on themselves. They always find little things there to nitpick. But overall, how would you rate the fight, the plan that you executed that night?
Um, I would definitely rate myself a 9 out of 10, and because nothing is always as perfect as you want it to be. That's why. But being honest, on this fight, we did exactly what we trained, and that's what brought more joy to myself. That the workout that me and Eddie and my father had been doing at the gym for a long time had finally shown. I kept on telling people that people haven't seen the best out of me. They haven't seen the best out of Oscar Valdez, and for some reason, I haven't performed the way I wanted to. I had to come out some victories, but not how I wanted them, like with Adam Lopez and Jason Velez. And prior from that, having my jaw broken, and there was just fights after fights that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do, and I didn't know what it was. But I kept on telling myself, I'm gonna rise with the competition. The bigger the competition, the more it's gonna have to push myself to win, because losing is never an option for me. So I rate myself a 9 because we did exactly what we worked out, and we kept on telling ourselves that we are gonna win, and we are gonna win by a knockout. We didn't tell it to the public. We weren't saying it on the interviews or nothing. But in the gym, that's where you win the fights. Me, my trainer Eddy Reynoso, and my father, we kept on telling to ourselves that we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We're gonna win by a knockout. We got this. We know he's gonna look for that knockout, and that's gonna be his biggest mistake. And exactly what we said is exactly what happened in the fight. So just by that, I was very happy that we won, because we accomplished our dream that what I've had ever since I was 8 years old. I wanted to be a WBC world champion, and also having a great fight with Berchelt. This fight was being compared to my great idols, Marco Antonio Barrera and Eddie Morales. It wasn't like that because it wasn't as back and forth like Eddie Morales and Marco Antonio Barrera, but my whole country was waiting for this fight, and that's what made it beautiful. That everybody was looking at this fight, and a lot of people thought I was gonna lose. They thought they were gonna knock me out. Their teammates said, my rivals said that they were gonna knock me out in the 10th round, and it didn't happen. It happened complete opposite. In the 10th round, I got the knockout. So just thinking about the whole fight in general, from doing it was exactly what we thought we were gonna do, from being an underdog, from having my whole country watching and having a great knockout. It just made the fight great.
You mentioned that you guys knew you were going to knock him out. What made you feel that you would be able to knock out this guy that at that point before you had fought him was the knockout artist, was the guy that was the heavy-handed puncher and the relentless guy?
Well, I kept on telling everybody that I think they're underestimating my size. I've always been a small fighter, ever since I was in the amateurs. And it's nothing new to me fighting bigger and taller fighters and bulkier. It's nothing new for me. And they kept on, saying that they were going to look out for the knockout. They were going to come for the knockout. So if you're looking for the knockout, you're gonna open up. You're gonna expose yourself, and that's exactly what we kept on saying in the gym. But and also the work ethic that we have. I always give it 100% in the gym every day that I'm in the gym. If I got time to go to a store or go to the movies, if I got energy to do all those things, it means I didn't work out like I should have. I always give it 100%. So I get exhausted and go to sleep, go rest up, and then go train again. That's just my work ethic. So training hard, and doing repetitions and telling ourselves that we're going to knock them out because we knew they were going to they were going to go out for the knockout. That's what we kept on telling ourselves, that we were sure we're gonna knock our opponent.
So no golf with you with Canelo after workouts.
No, Canelo is he's a phenomenon. He's something different. He can do that, but my work ethic, my mind just it doesn't allow me to do that. If I do something like that, it's gonna start bugging me, telling myself that I didn't give it 100% in the gym. So I always have to work hard, go to sleep, go back to train, go back to sleep, and that's just those are my camps.
Yeah, and you might pick up an expensive hobby, because golf is an expensive hobby, and it's quite addicting. I hear from people that get into it. That overhand, man. You know, you're mentioning it, but you guys drilled and drilled and drilled that same punch.
Oh yeah, that was something different. Going with Eddy Reynoso. So a lot of people knew I used to train with Manny Robles, a person who I got nothing but respect, nothing but love, because he's a first he's the first trainer who put maybe a world champion. And for that, I will always be grateful with him. I will always have love. He's part of my legacy. And every time I get a chance, I always try to put it out there that I have nothing but love for Manny Robles. He's a great guy. He's a great trainer. But the decision was made by the team to go out and look for a better for another option, not a better, another option. And we went to Eddy Reynoso. And at first, it was hard adjusting to his work ethic, because with Manny Robles, it was a lot of workout, a lot of training, hard work, and a lot of intensity. It was fun. And with Eddy Reynoso, it got a little bit boring at first. Going back to the basics, doing a lot of repetitions, throwing 100 jabs, throwing 100 right hands, and throwing 100 body shots. And you think as a fighter you already know that, because we've been fighting ever since we're 8 years old, and it got boring at first. But after a time, I started throwing punches. I started doing things differently in sparring sessions. I kept on telling to myself that, okay, this is working out. Whatever Eddy Reynoso is making us do, well, the results are there. So I got a little bit more comfortable with Eddy, and now the results are showing. We were conscious that we weren't going to learn everything in one training camp, and it took us a while to adjust. But we finally got to that spot where we wanted to, where we're better on our defense, on our offense, and everything in general. So I just feel like a more complete fighter thanks to my father and to Eddy Reynoso.
Yeah, it seems like this performance was finally where like everything like clicked in, because I know like to the prior fights that you had with Eddy, a lot of people were still wondering like, hey, like what's going on with Oscar? It doesn't look like he's improving under Eddy's system. Like, did that bother you at all? Because I know you must have heard those things from people.
Yeah, it bothered me, but it bothered more internally. I was getting frustrated at myself because things were coming out as I wanted to. We will have great sparrings. There was not a sparring where I would feel. I will always feel good in the sparrings, and I will do everything Eddy will tell me in the sparring sessions. But as soon as the fight would show up, I wasn't myself. Something was off, and I kept on getting frustrated at myself. Why aren't things going out as planned? And we're conscious. All the other fighters, our rivals, are also studying us, and they're not gonna just stay there so I can look good. They're gonna try to win the fight as well. They also got their game plans, and it must have been working out. But a lot of times, I kept on asking myself, why isn't it coming out as I wanted to? As sparring sessions go, as the workout that we've been doing, we're not showing it in the fights. In all these negative comments, there was times where they were actually getting at me, and I would actually doubt myself every now and then. Am I getting old in the sport? Am I getting hit too much and I'm not reacting as I want to? Is it this? Is it that? But at the same time, I've always been a very positive guy. Every time those thoughts will come to my mind, I will shake my head and just say no to myself. No, that's not it. We gotta keep on working hard. We gotta keep on pushing it, because one, losing is never an option for me. And two, I was born for this. I was born to fight. I love the sport. I don't ever see myself retiring, because I just love the sport so much. I love being in the gym. I love fighting. So I cannot accept that. Every time all those negative comments would come to me, and there was times, like I said, that I would doubt myself. I would have this own battle in my mind where I would tell myself, no, stop thinking about that. Stop thinking about that. You were born for this, and you're gonna be a champion again. And that's exactly what we did.
Positive reinforcement. It's a lot of and I don't know like the exact word, but like mental visualizing, a lot of visualization.
Yes, you gotta ask for it. You gotta ask for it. You gotta you got to repeat it in your mind, but you got to repeat it in your mind. You got to work out for it. You know, you can't just repeat it and just sit down on your couch and not do nothing. You know, you got to repeat, fight for your dreams, and that's what I kept on telling myself. That's a time where I would get angry because
Lost your video real quick, Oscar. There we go.
you guys, yeah, because I would get angry at myself because I worked so hard. And things weren't coming out as I wanted to. So I'm just very happy that finally we're there where we wanted to be. I think we're in a good position right now. We're you know, the future is bright. I just gotta keep on working out the same way I've been doing it. You know, I became a world champion, beating Alacran Bichet. I only took a week off. I'm back in the gym. Doing weights, going to the gym, hitting the mitts, hitting the bag. Just trying to stay active. You know, I did a half marathon. You know, just gotta push myself. Keep on working out because, you know, getting in shape, getting the condition is one of the hardest things to get, and one of the easiest things to lose. So I don't want to lose this condition that I have. Got to keep on working out because I know there's a lot of fighters out there. There's a lot of young, hungry fighters who want to take this belt away, and the same way I wanted to take Alacran Bichet's belt. So I can't let that happen. I got to work hard and, you know, just look out for the best.
You know, you mentioned the past performances, like you didn't feel like yourself, and you're telling me like, hey, you know, like you know, you work out, you go home, you work out, you have a very strong work ethic, and you like to work out 120%. Do you think you were overtrained at all? Like, were you not allowing yourself to recover?
Well, that was one of the things that me and Eddy and my father and my manager, Frank Espinosa, which is his birthday today. I want to congratulate him, wish him a happy birthday, Frank Espinosa, great manager. This whole team kept on telling me that maybe I'm overtraining myself, but I don't see it that way. You know, I feel like if I don't work out this way, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And I love training this way. I love training with high intensity, just pushing myself to the limits. And there was several times where Eddy Reynoso had to slow me down sometimes and tell me, hey, that's enough. And I want to push myself a little bit more. It's just take your gloves off. And they had to force me sometimes to stop training. But I don't know. I truly don't believe that I've been overtraining myself. But those are comments that I have heard from my father, from Frank, from Eddy Reynoso, and from several people. So I wouldn't know because I always feel great in sparring sessions and the gym. But like I said before, in the fights, things weren't going out as I wanted to. So it could be, but you never know because with this fight with Alacran Bichet, I worked out the same way with high intensity, just a little bit more smarter in the gym and in the fight as well.
I know that a lot of people were expecting this to like be a firefight, and it was a dominant performance by you. I know you've had to have heard this because you know, doing research, I heard this from people too. You know, do you think COVID at all affected Berchelt, and what do you make of that? Because I know that's one of the reasons why the fight was postponed a few months back.
Of course, I've heard those comments. I don't know what to take from this sometimes because I mean, I talked to Panterin Taneri. He had COVID, and he didn't put that as an excuse. He won the fight, and he said he felt great. He said he didn't feel nothing, but I don't know. You know, it could be, maybe it couldn't be, but I think it would have affected if it was COVID, maybe in the later rounds. But I think it was a little clear that I caught him good in the fourth round, and ever since then he didn't recover.
Yeah, you hit him with a tremendous punch.
I wouldn't think it was COVID because he never recovered from that shot. Maybe because he would have got tired because he threw a lot of punches. That could be one, but I don't know. At the end of the day, there's maybe just excuses, but at the same time, I don't know. I also don't want to say this. That, you know, COVID hits everyone different. Maybe it did hit him, maybe it didn't. But at the same time, I'm just enjoying the victory because You know, I would never know. How would we know? Unless he wants to rematch. But a rematch is what happens when fights are close fights. This fight was a little bit more, one-sided. I would want better fights, other fights than a rematch, maybe in the future if he wants it. But I truly don't know if it affected him or not.
Your punch affected him, that's for sure. And you could tell those people, like, no, the reason why he looked that way is because I clipped him in the fourth round and he didn't recover. And that was apparent.
And at the same time, I worked very hard to win this fight. I worked very hard to fight with a technique and a strategy. And I think the strategy is what made it like that. Not COVID, but I repeat, how would we know? I think he fought Tronco Valenzuela in Mexico City, and he didn't look so good either. And he didn't have COVID right there. So, was it really COVID, or was it that he was already struggling to make weight, or was it that we had a better strategy than him?
Speaking of strategy, and this is a thing that's always interested me, is how coaches approach training and game plans. Like, you're with Eddy Reynoso. Eddy has a tremendous stable right now, and you included Canelo, Ryan Garcia, Andy Ruiz, Frank Sanchez. Just got a ton of just tremendous, talented fighters in there with you. So when you guys go into a fight, like, get me into the mind of Eddy. Like, how does he approach putting a plan together for you, and like, how is his approach to training?
I mean, he's very quiet when it comes to like fight day. The day of a fight, he's just very quiet. I think what he does is he prepares you very well in the gym, and once we're gonna fight, he just pretty much talks in the corner. He, like, before we work, we go out, do a little bit of mid work, just say simple words that we've been working out in the gym. He was a little bit different this fight. This fight, he was way more aggressive towards me. Kept on yelling at me. Kept on reminding me not to mess up, because he would tell me that in training sessions, he would tell me, if we keep on working the same way we're working, we're gonna win easy. We're gonna do this. You're gonna beat him like that. He doesn't know how to walk this way. He doesn't know how to walk this way. But you just gotta listen to me. But we kept on repeating it, and it felt like we were doing a good job. But in the fight, he kept on yelling at me, very aggressive, very reminding me not to mess up. And
does that ever make you go like, "What the fuck? Why are you yelling at me, man?"
No, at the contrary, I was very focused. Every time you yell at me, it was working, because there was times where
the light bulb would go off.
Because you tell me my biggest mistake is my heart. That's what he would tell me. He says, you get mad too easy, and you want to go out there and you want to give a good fight, but that's your biggest mistake, he would tell me. So kept on telling to myself, don't fall in the game plan. Don't step in there. Don't get mad. Don't get angry. Stick with the game plan. And every time he would see me sometimes going in there wanting to fight, he would remind me, yell at me, and just trigger my warnings, and it kept on working out, because there was times where, like, Berchelt would tell me like that, let's go, telling me that I'm pretty much running away from him. And Eddy would keep on yelling at me, stay with the game plan, stay with the game plan. After the fight, now that after we won and everything, he came up to me and he said he was sorry for yelling at me that way, but that's what you had to do, Eddy. That we won the fight, but thanks to that, being aggressive towards me, and my father towards me kept on reminding me not to fall into his game plan, and that's why we won.
What about how Eddy approaches a actual game plan in camp? Like, how is he? How does he approach it? And, like, what's his training system like?
Well, I think it's the same as other trainers. What we do, we sit down in his house or anybody's house, and we watch film. We'll watch what our rivals' mistakes are, and from there we go to the gym. He does a lot of repetitions. So if we see our opponent slacking on, he might get hit with an uppercut, and we work on a lot of uppercuts, and keep on throwing them, and he finds a way how how to work around that. And in this fight, two of my uppercuts were the reason why my Berchelt went to the canvas. So it just proves that the work ethic that he has and everything that he's doing in the gym, it works out. It works out well. He's a strong analysis. He's always watching boxing, and not just our rivals. He's always watching boxing in general. If you go to his house, you're gonna probably see him watching some old boxing fights. Eddie's analysis. He's always studying boxing, and he tells us all the time, "This boxing is his life, like his logo."
That's interesting. Do you think that's what sets him apart? Is like he's a real student? Like he really likes to get into like the nitty gritty of that side of things?
Well, I'm almost positive that's what it is, because he's always watching boxing. He's always studying boxing. He's always reading about something to benefits his athletes. So, I'm almost positive that's what it is, because he likes to study boxing.
Like I mentioned, it's you, Ryan, Canelo, Frank, Andy. How's it like being in camp with those guys, man? Like, how is it when all you guys are there?
Well, it must be hard on Eddie, because he lives in the gym pretty much, because everyone has their own times. There's very few times where we're all together in the gym, and when we're all together, it's pretty cool having great fighters like that in the gym, because we all carry the same energy. We all have the same dream to be the best, and we all just support each other. We all help each other. There's no negativity in the gym. On the contrary, it's nothing but positivity and great energy. I love being in there with Andy. Andy's my friend for a very long time. We've been friends, and we just carry that good vibe. Canelo is a little bit more quiet, but when he talks, he's always giving positive and good advice. And you got someone like Ryan, who just carries a lot of energy, great energy. He just is just contagious. He brings good vibes, and just everybody in the gym, we just carry that same energy, and we try to help each other out.
Who's like the prankster of the group, or like the jokester?
The prankster, Cesar Martinez is a funny guy. I like Cesar Martinez. Cesar Martinez is something else.
He looks like a funny guy, actually.
Oh,
he has like that little deceiving smile.
He has a very contagious smile. He just brings, every time I'm with him, I have to be here with him for like 15 minutes maximum, because it's too much. It's too much energy. He's always, he's a very funny guy. He's always joking around in the gym. But also Ryan also, he just carries he goes in the cameras. He does a lot of things, but he does good the work. He puts in the work a lot. So for him, it's not just all cameras. As a lot of people would think. Ryan Garcia does work out pretty hard in the gym. So everyone has their own personalities in the gym. Andy's more as a kid. I see Andy, and I just think of him as a very happy kid all the time. Everyone has their own personalities in the gym.
Yeah, it's so cool to that's like a super team, man. Like of just like class talent, man. That's you rarely see something like that in boxing. Like it's more familiar in MMA, because they have like fight camps, and boxing's more like individual. Everybody sets up their own individual camp with their own individual people. So it's a rare thing, but it's a really, really cool thing to see, because it seems, it comes off like you guys are really like friends, like even outside of all this stuff as well.
And it is, and it truly is. We all try to stay in touch with each other. We all try to support each other, because, like I said, we all have the same dreams. We all try to support each other. That's the benefit of being all together. Andy Ruiz is going to fight very soon. We're almost sure he's going to win. Canelo has a great fight in front of him against Billy Joe Sanders. We're also pretty sure he's going to win. And, we all have tough fights, but we all see how we work out. I see the way Andy Ruiz fights. I see how Canelo works out, how Ryan, Frank Sanchez, all these fighters, we all see in the gym. And we all know that if you do the sacrifice, if you do the good work ethic, and you work hard in the gym, the fighting is going to be the fun part. The hard part is being in the gym, working out hard.
No, yeah, that's true. And you guys can feed off of each other's energy as well, which is like a big help, because if there's ever like days that you're not feeling motivated, you could look at the other guys and you see them like grinding their ass off, and then like that kind of like pumps you up and makes you feel like, oh no, like I got to push it. Like look how hard
And you
like so and so is working.
and you learn something from everybody. I learned something from Andy. I could learn something from Ryan Garcia. Like I learned a lot of things from Canelo. And Canelo has that thing that he tries to give that knowledge to everybody. He tries to be a coach as well. And he's the one who has more experience than all of us. He's been in there with Floyd Mayweather, with Miguel Cotto, and he's been there with great fighters, with Xander Lara. So he has all that experience, and he has a lot to show us in there. We learn from Eddy Reynoso, obviously, but we also learn from each other. We all try to help each other out. This was sparring with Canelo. Canelo tried to teach me a couple of things different that we're not used to, like staying in the ropes. People are, as a trainer, you don't want to see your fighter in the ropes, but Canelo tells us use the ropes as your benefit. Use the ropes. You can use the ropes and still be defensive, and it's true. And we've been doing it. So there's just a lot of things in boxing. You never stop learning. You can learn from Canelo. You can learn from Andy. You can learn from Ryan, from Frank, from all these fighters. And that's what we all try to do in the gym. Try to support each other, and keep on feeding off that positive energy.
Yeah, there's a clip of you sparring Canelo. How was that like, man, being in there with him?
Yeah, it was a great experience for sure. There was times where I would see Canelo in his career and he's bobbing and weaving and ducking the shots and moving. And I would ask myself, was that really skills or was that luck? Because it looks too slick. It looks too I don't know how to explain it. It just you're moving. You're reading the shots. Like you already know what the shots are. You can't be reading all those shots. You can't make them miss 6, 7, 8 punches. It must have been luck. That's what I would ask myself. And he does it again. Then he does it again. Then I see him in sparring sessions, and he keeps on doing it. Then I go in sparring with him, and I'm throwing some fast shots, and it's hard to hit him. So proves to myself that it's not luck. I don't think none of this is luck. It's just hard work and talent. And he keeps on working on his talent and trying to be a better fighter. So, I take my hat off for Canelo for having that what do you call it, talent, bobbing and weaving, keep on working on it, making great fighters miss shots.
Yeah, like you're a 130 pounder. Like 130 pounders in general are quick. He's like a super middleweight. And when I saw that clip, I was like, what the heck? He's making Oscar miss. Like this makes no sense. Like this guy's a super middleweight. Like what the hell?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I got very excited when Canelo Sparring didn't show up and he was already ready. And Eddie said, pues ahí está el Oscar. And Canelo looked at me and I said, yeah, I'll go in there because, who wouldn't want to go in there with Canelo as a learning experience, And I got in there and I was very excited to step in the ring with him, share a ring with him because not only very few people have done it. So, you learn from this. And in boxing, like I said, you never stop learning. There's always a lot to improve. There's always a lot to learn. And being in there with them definitely has helped me.
Were you thinking the same thing we were thinking? Like when you were throwing the shots, like, what the heck? Why can't I touch this guy?
I was getting a little bit frustrated. I was getting mad at myself. Why am I not hitting Canelo? I'm supposedly faster. And he makes it look so easy as well. Like, like it's not like I'm not trying to hit you. I'm throwing pretty fast and I'm not landing a good shot. So I was getting a little frustrated, but at the same time, we're also having fun in there. We're also having fun trying to learn. Like I said, that's the most important thing. Always learn from the sparring sessions.
Over the weekend, we learned that Carl Frampton is retiring. And he got knocked out, stopped by Jamel Herring. Overall, Oscar, what'd you make of how the fight played out? Because I know a lot of people were seeing as Carl actually as the favorite coming into the fight.
I kind of had Jamel Herring as a slight favorite. I didn't think Jamel Herring was gonna knock him out like that or knock him down. But Jamel Herring is a great fighter. What can we say? He works. You can tell he works hard. He has a work ethic and he has the skills. He has great boxing skills, and he just caught Frampton. Sometimes you don't the shots you don't see are the ones that hurt the most, and I think that's exactly what happened. It's always sad to see somebody retire, announce their retirement. Carl Frampton had a great career, and I congratulate him for the excellent career that he had. I would have loved to fight him as 126, maybe 130, but Jamel Herring is now the winner, so I think that's a possible fight that could happen in my next fight. But we don't know. If it happens, it happens. I would love to fight. I would love to unify. I said it before. I would want the winner of Frampton and Jamel Herring. Both fighters are great fighters, but Jamel Herring did do his job. He did his job very well, and he got he's still undefeated. No, not undefeated. He's still the champion.
If you had your way, would that be the next logical fight? Like if you had carte blanche and you were able to say like this is the next fight, like no ifs, ands, or buts, would that be the one that makes the most sense to you?
I think that's the one that makes the most sense because we're both signed with Top Rank, and why not unify? People want to see that fight. Let's do it. We are the champions. Let's show who is the bigger and the better fighter in this division. Just make it clear. Of course, that would be the most logical fight, and of course we'll take it.
That'd be a good fight. I like that fight, you and him, and I think it'd be a very exciting fight. Like, how do you think you match up with the Jamel Herring?
Definitely a competitive fight. There's a reason why he's a world champion. There's a reason why I'm a world champion. I would just have to sit down with Eddy Reynoso and see what we're gonna do to win this fight. Like I said before with Oscar Valdez, no one's invincible. Neither Lacran, neither myself, neither Jamel Herring. No one's invincible. Everybody will make one mistake that could bring a possible win. So that's my mindset. I don't think no fighter out there is invincible, and that's something that we'll always have. We're gonna if we watch the fight, we're gonna find something that will make us win the fight.
He looked really, really good in the fight, and I think in general, I think his size poses a problem for a lot of the people in your division because he's really big. He's a big 130 pounder, and I think that was the main problem that Carl had in that fight was just overcoming the size and the reach advantage in that fight. Like, how do you avoid that happening? That what happened to Carl happened to you?
Well, you being a better fighter, we'll go not going too straight with a tall fighter like that. Gotta watch out with those uppercuts. Jamel Herring has tremendous uppercuts, so obviously you can't go too straight with him. But like I said before, there's a lot of things you could do to avoid that. Being a better using your legs, your waist, and bobbing and weaving and getting in there to land your own shots. But it's easier said than done. Like I said, like you said, he's a tall fighter. He has that great advantage on him. He's fast and he carries a punch. So it will definitely be a tough fight, but the fans want it, and that's definitely what we want as well.
What'd you make of Shakur after the fight? He went on Twitter, and I know he's been making a lot of noise about wanting a fight with you. What do you make of the things that he said that he's saying like, oh, now Oscar's definitely not going to want to fight me because Jamel has a belt now. Like, I need to fight Jamel first, and just overall, like the things that he's been saying.
Oh, man. I mean, it's good. It's good for this fight, for boxing in general. I'm not the type of fighter who likes to talk. I'm not the fighter who's going to go on social medias and comment back. I've tried to done it, and it just doesn't feel right with me. I'd rather just let my hands do the talking, just get the fight done. And this fight, one thing for sure, I'm not scared to face no fighter. I've been fighting inside and outside the ring ever since I was a little kid, so I fear no fighter. And if the fight gets done, it gets done. And of course, Shakur Stevenson isn't invincible either. There's things in there, that will make us win the fight as well. But, whatever fight happens, whatever fight's in front of me, I will take it. I would like Jamel Herring because he has a title, but not voiding no other fighter. If Shakur fights him first or whatever, it doesn't matter for me. I'll fight any fighter out there. Shakur Stevenson is good, but he's making noise because a lot of people want to see this fight. But I'll let my fist do the talking whenever the fight's if it's my next fight or two more fights or whatever fights Top Rank puts in front of us. So hopefully it's Jamel Herring because it's a fight that unified belts, but we're open to fight anybody.
What do you make of Shakur's style? Because I know he gets a lot of criticism from some boxing fans that they don't like his style. They say he's a very boring fighter.
Well, he does what he has to do to win the fights. You can't judge a fighter for his style just because he wins fights. You can tell obviously he's a more defensive fighter, but you got to do what you got to do to win. That's at least that's my mindset. But it's a little bit opposite for me because my style is a little bit more aggressive and people like my style because of that. But if I had a different style, it wouldn't matter to me because, I just want to win and go back home to my family. But, you could be a defensive fighter and still be recognized as an attractive fighter. You got examples like Camarel Marquez was a great counterpuncher and people recognize him. And you got people like Pernell Whitaker. He's a great defensive fighter, but he puts up a good fight. He put a good fight in his days. So, for the casual fan, I think people will consider him a boring fighter. But for a real boxing fan, for a good analysis, you could tell that he's obviously a great fighter.
So you're a fan of his style, like you wouldn't agree like with the fans that say like, oh, he's so boring to watch.
Well, not that I'm a fan of his style, but I can appreciate a style like that. Like, there's people who criticize Guillermo Rigondeaux, and I like seeing him fight, because I don't see what other people are looking. I look at his boxing skills, and I've been watching him since the Olympics, since the gold medals that they've won. So I can appreciate a good fighter watching him, but I think a casual fan wouldn't. I always hear criticism towards Guillermo Rigondeaux and to like a fighter like Shakur Stevenson because they're more defensive fighters. But I have no problem watching them or fighting a fighter like that.
In your eyes, say you go into this Jamel Herring fight, you become a unified champion. Does he have to get a title for it to make sense for you? Would you give him a chance?
No,
regardless?
I'll give him a shot. I'll give him a chance for sure. Well, if it was for me like that, of course I would get a fight. Well, but makes it seem like it's that easy. You go to Top Rank, you make Top Rank make the fight. We can't just hey, let's go and see each other in the corner. Let's go fight in Vegas. Let's get the fight done.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you guys could do that. It'd be so much easier. Fights happen.
So, there's a lot of great fights who would want to see like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, but it's not that easy as people think. But this in this case is way more easier. Shakur and we're both for Top Rank, but you still got to go through Top Rank to make this fight happen. But if we make the Jamel Herring fight, he doesn't have to get a belt to fight, but people want to see the fight, and then we'll make the fight happen without all of them.
For you, Oscar, what is the dream fight at any weight, just in general? Is there a fight that you're eyeing, that you're looking at, that you think like, oh, this is it, this is the fight that I want, this is the fight that's going to get the world's attention?
Well, I don't have one right now. The one I did have was like Miguel Berchelt, and I never make plans before a fight. But now that we won, I still don't have one fighter that I'm thinking of that I would want to fight. I think a great fighter who I would like will be Gervonta Davis. He has an attractive fight that the whole fans will enjoy because he has a great style. He knocked out Leo Santa Cruz, and in a great fashion way. And he's an aggressive fighter as well. So I think that's a fight that the fans would definitely enjoy. It just sucks to see him going through a situation that he's going through, legal problems. Hopefully he can get out of that soon and continue his career. But I truly don't have one right now where I'm thinking of the same one that I have with Berchelt. But I think it would definitely be maybe Gervonta Davis.
Yeah, that'd be a tremendous fight, man. But I think he's going up to 140. Last time, I checked the news, which is it's just crazy to me. Like props on him for doing that. He
Yeah,
might have
props.
the power to carry himself at 140. But I'm thinking like, dang, these guys at 140 are big dudes.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned it because his last fight was 130 pounds. That's why I'm bringing him up. But if he goes to 140, props to him. I think a fight at 135, he has a lot of good fighters as well, like Teofimo Lopez or Ryan Garcia, or Devin Haney. There's great fighters around this whole division. 130 and 135, there's a lot of great fighters. But right now, I truly don't have one fighter who I think it could be Gervonta or it could be Shakur Stevenson. Either one.
Lomachenko.
Lomachenko.
You faced him in the amateurs.
No, definitely. I forgot to mention Lomachenko. Lomachenko's, even though he came out of a loss against Teofimo Lopez, he's still a great fighter. He's still one of the best pound for pounds, in my opinion. But either one, anyone who's in the path, I would definitely want to fight him. One thing for sure, like I repeat, I'm not scared of facing no fighter.
Yeah, you got some great names at 130 pounds, man. You got Jojo Diaz, you got Tevin Farmer, you got Jamel, you got Shakur, you got Leo, you got Tank, a lot of guys, you and Jojo, you and Leo, Abner, if he comes back, I think those would all be tremendous fights too.
Yeah, those even Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz just came off a loss with Gervonta Davis, but he's still a dangerous fighter. He's still an attractive fighter. Just because he came off a loss like that doesn't mean his career is over. I think Leo Santa Cruz, and because of his style and my style, will be a great fight for the fans to watch. I think that's a more closer fight, like Barrera and Morales, than Oscar Valdez versus Lacran Berchelt, because we both are going to throw a lot of punches and we're both going to go at it. It's going to be a similar fight like that. But like I said, though, you just mentioned great fighters, and in this whole division, you got, like I said, you guys, Joseph Diaz, a lot of fighters. It's full of talent in this division. It's just make the fights happen. That's all.
When do you think your next fight, or around when do you think you'll have your next fight?
I haven't heard nothing from Top Rank yet, or from my manager. We're still waiting. That's the reason why I'm still staying active, because I don't want to get a fight date and not be ready. But if it's in August, September, October, November, anyone, but I do want to fight this year again. If it's right away, if it's the sooner the better for me, because I just love being in the gym, love fighting. So, and I'm not getting any younger as well. So I got to take advantage of my youth. I'm 30 years old right now, and who knows?
You don't look 30 at all. You have a little kid face, man.
I get that a lot, but I don't want to feel old. I don't want to get to that point where I'm already feeling old, where I'm not reacting as I want to. And, I just want to take advantage of this, because I don't want to one day get old and I say to myself, I should have fought him when I was in my prime. I should have fought him when I was in my prime. And that's the reason why we went up against the tougher opponent in the 130 division. Everybody was scared of Lacran Berchelt, and I raised a hand and said, I want to fight him, because I think I can beat him, but I don't know. Maybe he beats me, but we will never know if I don't take the risk. And I said that to myself. I don't want to one day be old and say I should have fought Lacran Berchelt when I was in my prime, because who knows what would have happened. So we took the risk, and we won the fight. Thank God.
Do you think that the Jamel Herring fight, I read something that he has a mandatory, that he has to take the mandatory, or he's going to be stripped. So do you think that he's going to have to go through that mandatory, and then you're going to have like a title defense and then go into that fight? Because if that's the case, give me the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Please, bro. Please give me that fight.
Hey, I haven't heard from that, but because I haven't heard from my managers or Top Rank. But like I said, either one, if it's Leo Santa Cruz, I will gladly love it.
Bro,
if it's
I'll throw money
Jamel
at
Herring,
That would be for real. Like
but
that's
isn't that a fight?
Regardless of what happened to Leo, and this is the thing that
Yeah.
sometimes pisses me off about boxing fans, because just because Leo got knocked out, they think like he's no good anymore, which is not true.
Well, that's what I was going to tell
Smaller
you.
guy that
You
he
don't think
fought,
I would? You don't think I would get a lot of criticism saying that I dug Jamel Herring to fight Leo Santa Cruz? Either way, you're gonna get I'm gonna get criticism for a lot of things, maybe. But I would want to fight with Leo Santa Cruz. But I think if I fight Leo Santa Cruz, if I beat him, it's because he lost. He didn't recover from a knockout. And if I lose, it's a lose. It will be like a lose-lose type of thing. But I repeat, if a fight's there, it gets offered, of course, let's take it. Let's take all the fights they throw in front of us. Forced for me to pick and choose. It will be easier, but we got to go to the top rank first. But I repeat, I agree with you, but I'm curious to see what people would think about that fight, if it's interesting for them or not. Like you just said before,
it's
boxing
interesting
fans.
to me, but obviously you would hear some of that. But I think at the end of the day, people would tune in because I think even with that knockout loss, Leo got a lot of respect because he went out on his shield and he
was given a great fight.
Yeah.
He was doing a great fight. He was doing it. But this is boxing. This is what happens. Marquez knocked out Manny Pacquiao in a tremendous fashion way. And Pacquiao to this day is still giving great fights. So his career wasn't over after that knockout. And that should be the same way how people would see Leo Santa Cruz. I don't think Leo Santa Cruz's career is over. I truly believe Santa Cruz still has a lot to show to the world yet.
And I don't think it would be a lose-lose for you either, because at the end of the day, having a name like Leo Santa Cruz, I think Leo Santa Cruz is going to end up being in the Hall of Fame. So that if you end up winning, you're going to have a win over a Hall of Famer. And when we look back at your resume, if you were to have a Leo fight and you were to beat him, be like, okay, he got a win against Berchelt in a fight that he wasn't expected to win. He beat this Hall of Famer in Leo Santa Cruz that was dominant in the lower weight class divisions. Like, it starts adding up your case for a Hall of Fame career.
Exactly. I agree with you. I do believe him. He's a Hall of Fame, and you're kind of convincing me now that I want to fight Leo Santa Cruz. No, man, like I said, I fear no fighter. If it gets offered, of course, we'll take it. But I'm just curious to see what the fans will think about that fight.
Now, changing topics now, Oscar, on an ending subject. Now, you live in Sonora, Mexico, right? Hermosillo?
Yes.
Your English is like perfect, but you live in Mexico. So, I don't know if people have heard this or touched on this, but how is it that you have like such perfect English? Like, did you live here in the States for a long time and then move back? Like, let me know a little bit about that.
When we were little kids, my father and my mother went to Tucson, Arizona. And I did my whole elementary school in Tucson. And then my father and my mother got a divorce, and I went back with my father to Nogales. But as a kid, you learn very fast. I did my whole elementary from first grade to fifth grade, I believe. We went back, so English was with me ever since, and that's why my English is very well. So it just stick with me.
What did your parents do for work when they were over here in Arizona?
My dad was a miner. He worked in the mines in what was it? Green Valley. Green Valley is close to Tucson, in the middle of Tucson and Nogales, and things were going very well. But they got into the divorce, and my father decided to move back to Nogales.
Was that
and my mother?
Like a tough transition from like living here going back to Nogales?
Not really. It wasn't as tough as I see a lot of people affecting them. I think in the country, I think it helped me, as my boxing career, because my father was just pretty much dedicated towards me. It was just my father and myself. As a team, as my best friend, as my father, as my trainer, as everything. So the person that I am right now, as a champion and as a person outside the ring, it's because of my father. You know, and I owe him everything because he dedicated his life to me after that moment. So I will forever be grateful for my father. He's my role model. He's like my best friend. He's my trainer, my manager, my father, all that combined. So it was hard not being with my mother, but at the same time, it all turned out to be for something good because my father's dedicated his whole life to me.
Yeah, and your dad looks super young. Did he have you like as a young kid?
I think he was 19 years old when he had
Yeah, like
me.
because
He was
at the
very
time,
young, yeah.
I remember when I first saw both you guys when I think he was at a press conference. I think like a Provodnikov Bradley. I think they announced you or something like that. And I remember I thought your dad was your brother. Like I thought he was your older brother.
Yeah, we get that a lot. We get that a lot from everyone. To this day, we still get that, you know, because he looks very young, and because he had me very young. But yeah, my dad, you know, she's always it's always been me and my father and myself. You know, just us two. You know, I give him a lot of credit because obviously it's not easy being a single parent as a father and you know carrying with your son here and there to tournaments and the benefit that we had wasn't that we just were here in Mexico. We got to travel through USA to fights and the little tournaments, and we'll get more experience. Then we'll go back to Nogales and fight over here on this side. We went back and forth, and we had a lot of experience. We had a lot of amateur fights, and that's the reason why I was able to pretty much go to Olympics and come back and have a lot of experience as a professional as well.
Did your dad do boxing like, or did he have like no like boxing experience and he just put you
No,
into
he
boxing?
no he boxed when he was younger as a young guy. He used to box. That's the reason why I went to following his footsteps. I followed him one day to a gym, and and he had a pair of gloves. Some guy had his kid fighting, and he said, "Put his son with me," and that's how it all started. Just following my dad's footsteps.
How old were you?
Never professional. My dad was just an amateur, but he was always into boxing. I was 8 years old when I first went to boxing gym. I was 9 years old when I had my first fight.
Do you still remember that first fight like vividly?
Oh yeah, I still remember it. I still remember my first four fights because my first four fights were losses. It
Oh, they were.
was terrible. My first fight, I thought boxing wasn't for me. I believe my second fight was against Jose Benavides.
No way. As a
Yeah,
little kid?
yeah, we fought three times.
Well, yeah, no wonder you lost.
Yeah, yeah, we fought three times, and it was all great fights. But Jose Benavides, who we never knew that in the future, will be so much size difference. But yeah, we fought all over Arizona, a little bit of California, and even Nevada. We went all. My dad, like I said, I give him a lot of credit because being a single parent and just driving your son everywhere here and there, just to have boxing experience, give him a lot of credit for that.
Was David born yet? Did you see David also?
I remember David,
Yeah.
but he was nothing like he was right now. He was well, he wasn't small, but he was smaller, younger,
Mhm.
and he was very fat.
Oh, so even back then he was.
Yeah, he was a very chubby kid.
Yeah.
Never did I thought that he was gonna be the class world fighter that he is right now, his because he was a little fat.
He's
Yeah,
chubby.
just chubby. I don't want to offend him right now.
Nah, he's open with it. He knows he was.
No, he's a good. I know.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He's a great friend.
Dang. So you lost your. So why'd you keep with it? Like, if you lose like four in a row, usually people will be like, "Nah, maybe this thing isn't for me."
Because I was in love with boxing. I was in love with boxing, and I don't know. I just kept on wanting to fight. Wanted to go to the gym, train. I just thought boxing was something for me. It was something about boxing. I just felt attached to it, even though my first losses were, my first fights were losses. But after that, I started winning, and then every now and then a loss. Then win 10 fights and another loss, and then I started getting better and better at it.
So, growing up in Mexico, how was that for you and doing the boxing thing? Like, did you have to go like work, or were you lucky enough that you were able to just focus on boxing?
Um, I was lucky enough to have the father that I had.
Hmm.
You know, my father just, there was one thing that I had to do well, and it wasn't boxing. It was being good at school. My dad was very, very strict on school. You know, as you get good grades and you can continue boxing. He knew that I loved boxing so much, so you always use that against me. You want to go to the gym, you gotta get good grades, and that was just my dad was always a military style father. You know, we wake up very early, you go run, you come back, and you go to school. You go from school, do your homework, then we go train, and that's how it was. That's how it was for me and my father. So um, I was, like I said, I'm very blessed to have the father that I had.
Did he have to do the mine stuff up until he became your manager? Like, did he eventually stop that? Obviously, right?
Stopped what I'm sorry.
Doing the mining stuff.
Oh no, he stopped. He stopped like I believe after the Twin Towers happened. That's where he stopped. He got laid off from the work and
Mm.
we went back.
And then that's when he focused on you and your burgeoning Olympic career.
Yes, that's where pretty much we're all kept on, dedicating more time to me.
And then, obviously, not obviously, for you fans that do or do not know, Oscar was a part of two Olympic teams, 2008 and 2012. You faced, a lot of well-known opponents now that are pros. Carlos Cuadras, Lomachenko. I'm missing one other one too as well. Ray Vargas.
Ray Vargas.
Yeah.
I found a lot of great fighters that right now are doing some name as a professional. Asat is he's trained with Freddie Roach. Great fighter, 100 he's a 122 pounder. He 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 stopped, I believe, Ronnie Rios. I also fought the gold medalist from Uzbekistan. Can't remember his name, but he's a gold medalist from 2016, I believe. I beat him as an amateur. I also fought, let his soul rest in peace, Maximilius from Russia. Yes, I fought him as an amateur as well. Obviously, Lomachenko lost to John Joe Nevins, Ireland fighter in the Olympics. And I fought a lot of great names as an amateur. I fought Joseph Diaz. I fought.
Yeah,
There's
so
a lot
many
of fighters.
people. That's crazy.
A lot
They're
of
all like
fighters.
all accomplished like pros.
Yeah.
Now, what do you remember most about the Olympics?
My first Olympics was way different from my second Olympics. My first Olympics, I was 17 years old. I was concentrating on winning the fights, obviously, but I was also thinking about who I was going to see in the Olympics. What are the Olympics about?
Am I going to
What
see
about
Kobe? Were
the
those the
open
Kobe
ceremony?
ones?
That's the time where I got to
Yeah.
see Kobe, and I got that great experience of me actually talking to him.
Oh, you actually got to meet him.
Oh yeah. I was losing weight. We were doing some weight work with my coach, Profe Bonilla, and Profe Bonilla will always joke around and say, "Hey, look, it's Floyd Mayweather." It wasn't Floyd Mayweather. It was just a normal black guy. He was always that type of guy who just joke around. And we're doing mitts, and he yells at me, "Throw right because Kobe's looking at you." You get out of here. Kobe's not. We're looking at me. And then we do a step where I turn, keep on working. I look, and it's actual Kobe looking at me. Oh shit. And I'm working, and Kobe, he's looking at me, he's looking at the mitts, and he tells me in Spanish, eres muy rápido, amigo. Suerte. And then, I was very excited, and I answered back in English, and he tells me, "Oh, you know English?" Like, yeah, I live in the States when I was a kid, and I just tell me the whole story. He tells me, "When are you going to fight?" And I tell him, August 13th, the next couple of days. And he goes, "Oh, okay. Bueno, suerte, amigo." And he leaves. And I was, "Hey, can I take a picture before you leave?" Yeah, we took a picture. It was a very cool experience. Years later, I'm watching Olympic magazine, and Kobe's there at the fights, and it says right there, August 13th. So he actually went to see me fight. I didn't know he was there. But years later, I realized, oh, wow, he did actually go to He went to fights the day that I told him I was going to fight. So it was pretty cool experience seeing Kobe. But that was a different mindset that I had from my second Olympics. My second Olympics, I was very focused. There was only one thing in my mind, that was to get that gold medal, to bring that medal back to my country. And I almost had it. Very close fight, against John Joe Nevins. And it was a great experience, very sad experience, because you dedicate 4 years of your life. Then I could have been professional. I dedicated those 4 years of my life to go to Olympics and get that gold medal. And I didn't accomplish it. So I was very heartbroken, very sad. But my people, cheered me up, because in the eyes of a lot of people here in my country, they saw me win that fight. And that's what it all mattered. Seeing my people be happy for the result that I had, and my effort that I gave in the fight.
Well, it all worked out. You're two-division world champion now, but that Kobe story is actually really, really cool, and it shows you the kind of person that Kobe was, man. That's a really cool thing of him to go and see you fight.
And like, who would have thought
Yeah,
that,
right?
And some people might say, "Hey, man, you're lying. That's not true." But I can show you that picture where I fought, and he's there, and I got a picture. So it's like, there's no need to lie. He was a great, I'm talking to Kobe. He's talking to me in Spanish. He's talking. It was a very special moment.
How was like the legend of Lomachenko, you as an amateur, like, what was like his perception, like what was being said, like how was he perceived during that time?
Well, Lomachenko was a god in those days.
Yeah.
And then Lomachenko was already recognized as the best amateur fighter in history. And for me, when I was going to fight him in the World Championships, to me, it was just another fighter. And the same mindset that as I have, there's nothing, there's no fighter is invincible. This guy is beatable. But, unfortunately, I lost the fight. He beat me by a lot of points. When it was 15 to 5, that was the score. But it was definitely a great learning experience. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your losses.
That was the only time you guys fought in the amateurs, or you fought him a few more times?
Yeah, that was the only time. That was the only time that we got the chance to fight, because after those World Championships, the divisions moved. It was 126, and it went to. They took that division away, and they made 120, 123, and then from the next one was 132. I was too small for 132, but I struggled a lot to make 123. So Lomachenko went up to 60 kilograms, which is 132 pounders, and he got the gold medal in that division. And me, I had to lose weight to make 123.
Was he any different back then than he is now, like in the ring?
I always put Lomachenko was Lomachenko. Now and there, he was great. He's still a great fighter to this day. He's just, there was something that was special about him, and I would always tell him. I will always tell everybody, I don't know why he's not professional yet. He's pretty much playing with these fighters, these amateurs fighters. He wins all these fights pretty much easy. So why don't see with him? Why not going up to professional, which eventually he did.
Yeah, no, and he's had a great career. Hey, Oscar, great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much. It was a good and interesting chat having with you. Finally, what's left for Oscar Valdez? What other goals get you excited? What's driving you at this point?
I got a lot of goals in life. A lot of things on my bucket list, but right now, finishing my boxing career is the most important thing right now. There's one goal that I have, and it's to be considered to be in the top lists of the best Mexican fighters. It's going to be very hard. I know it's going to be very hard, but nothing's impossible in life. And that list, I want kids to one day in the future say, I want to be like Oscar Valdez, be in that list of the great Mexican fighters like Julio Cesar Chavez, Salvador Sanchez, Finito Lopez, Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera. You got a lot of, to be in that list with these fighters, you got to go through hell. But that's something that I'm willing to do. And all these fighters have something in common. They won championships in different divisions and then defended their titles many times. They all have losses, but they're all great fighters. And that's why I'm not scared of putting my undefeated record on the line against an all-other fighter, because you can still have losses and still be a great fighter like Juan Manuel Marquez or even the great Julio Cesar Chavez. So my goal in my boxing career is to be in that list one day. I know it's going to be very hard because those are my idols and those are people who I would never try to compare myself to them. But hopefully one day I will get close and people will recognize me as one of the best.
That is Oscar Valdez, the current WBC super featherweight champion of the world, who is also undefeated. Oscar, thank you for your time. Thank you so much. Enjoy this rest period as well. You've earned it, my man. Thank you.
Anytime, brother. I'm hoping to see you soon.
Same here, man. Same here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.